I wanted to have this podcast with my good friend and colleague, Coach Rory, because there's something that I've had a lot of struggles with, and I know a lot of people that I work with have a lot of struggles with. I think it's just a common human condition or challenge when it comes to following through on things that we say we're going to do for ourselves. It's so much easier for a lot of people to follow through on things that they say they're going to do for others, showing up for others, it's deadlines, assignments, you name it. But when we say we're going to do something for ourselves, for example, and this is what Coach Rory and I were going to talk about today as far as what we've been up to, for example, waking up early. Like for a lot of people, that's the optimal time. Wake up early and work out, stretch, meditate, just get set up for the day. And oftentimes it's so much easier just to stay in bed, just to kind of stay in that warm, cozy bed or be like, you know what, I didn't get to bed as early last night because I was doom scrolling or I was doing whatever. And I'm just going to sit this one out and I'll work out later in the day when that doesn't maybe happen. So, Rory, you and I, we've been having some calls together, some Zooms just like this for the past 2 years or so, because we just want to kick off our day and like make sure that we were more consistent, right? And for us, it wasn't necessarily to work out, but it was just to kind of tee off the day and get into that kind of that mindset and get kind of everything started and aligned for the day.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been doing this on and off, like you said. And I think the most recent time that we kind of got back in, we were both getting to that critical phase of like, okay, things haven't been working. I need to get back into some sort of routine, or I've been taking time off in the winter because it's cold and it's dark. And, now spring's out. Like, let's get that ball rolling again. We did keep it up throughout the winter periodically, but it definitely wasn't as consistent. And I think that's a pivotal piece because as much as we know that it's good for us, we still struggle with it. So imagine people who have different focuses and different experiences and different learnings about life and performance and health coming from people who study it, we can struggle with it as well. And the
Yeah.
fact I point out that like where you are right now down in Mexico, you've got a 2 hour difference on me. So you having to get up at 4 a.m. or
Yeah.
4:30.
4:15 to get on the call for 4:30. Yeah.
Yeah. And versus, me at 6:15, 6:30 getting up. There's a big gap, but it allows us to get that day started. So I'm on the treadmill looking forward to jumping on the call because with that 20-minute kind of catalyst start to the day, that ignition gets me moving before the kids are awake, before I start kind of getting everybody ready. And then it allows me time to settle into my routine. And then I come back later and do my workout. So kind of the main thing is we're talking about accountability and kind of
Accountability. Oh, yeah. And accountability can be seen, like we've talked about this before, it can be seen in multiple different ways. Like that accountability as like being accountable to ourselves and that ownership for ourselves. But it could be, we could say internal accountability and external accountability. And for me, like having these calls with you in the mornings is that extra external accountability. So I have my goals, I have my desires. I know I feel great when this morning I went for a long walk while we are talking and, I walked before we started our call and I was like 6,000 steps in, like, and just like a great starts the day. We were talking about some mindset stuff, just getting whatever was in our head from the previous days out of the way. And it really just launched my day. So it's combining for me the goals of what I want to do, but also with like some kind of enjoyment, like looking, like you said, I look forward to our calls in the mornings. And what better way to just start off with a friend, and a colleague who you've got a lot of similar goals. Like we have similar health goals as well that we're working towards. So why not? That's what we're on today. We just want to share with people. We think this is a huge opportunity to pick up and to make a difference with following through on the goals that we have and making that time for ourselves in the morning.
Yeah. If I were to liken it to a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or any appointment with
Mm-hmm.
anyone, it's very rare unless something comes up that we cancel those things. You'll move your entire day around if you have a doctor's appointment and take time off work. But when it comes to, I know for me, if it comes to my health, well, not right now. I'm actually quite focused, but during certain periods of the year, it'll be like, I got to focus on this project. I got to finish this thing. I've got this client here and this client here, and I've got to finish this program and I've got to get this thing. I'll do it later. I'll do it. And I keep pushing it. And the more I push it back, the harder it gets. So like sticking to it, like it's a non-negotiable. And I think that's where I'll tend to struggle in communicating that to people when it comes to their, like what my goal is as a coach is, yeah, we have big audacious goals that we set for ourselves, but we know that we've started at step one And for a lot of people, it's, we don't want you to be doing A, B, C. We want you to just take the first step, which is just show up. And once you show up, once we get that pattern interrupt in your life to come regularly, to show up regularly, then that creates that snowball effect that eventually leads to better health outcomes for people. But what people tend to struggle with is that showing up regularly and kind of hitting the start button. So this is kind of that key conversation that a lot of people are run up against that barrier.
And like you said, I like the snowball example because I think that's the biggest thing is we think about taking on the whole day, or we take, whether it's a morning workout, we think about the whole workout. It's like, oh my gosh, it's, whatever, 30-minute, hour long, whatever that may be. And it's like when we're in bed in the morning or whatever we're doing, if we're at the office in the afternoon, to think about doing that might feel like a lot, but to just focus on the first 10 minutes. And that's where like our calls, they're longer than 10 minutes, but the catalyst calls we were leading Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. It's 10 minutes. It's just to launch, to show up. That's step number one. And if you just do 10 minutes of whatever it is, you do 10 minutes. And it's about the habit and the identity of being somebody that takes time for themselves consistently. And one of the best ways to do it is having some extra support, having community, having people that have similar goals doing a similar thing. So this is our message to people, to share what we've gotten a lot of value from over and over the years. Even if we stopped because of certain circumstances, we come back together and we get the momentum, and we know it's like it lights the fire every day. So we just want to share that with those of you that are watching or listening, that it's something so powerful you can do. Just consider, what time do you need to start your day, or what time do you need to do certain habit or activity for you that you've been putting off? It's like something, I probably should be doing this. I know I need to be doing this for my goals. This is something that I've been putting off, but you're not doing it. Find somebody who can be in your corner, a friend. Just start the conversation. Say, hey, I'm really looking to do this. Like, I know you have similar goals. You mentioned wanting to start running, or you've mentioned wanting to do this or go to the gym, and then see if they'll do it in person with you at the gym, or jump on a Zoom like we do, whether we're in the same country or a different country, we're doing that. So that's our invitation to people, is to try that out. And if you don't have anybody in mind, or you want some more consistent, readily available support, then the Catalyst calls, which you can obviously reach out to myself. I'll give you some more information on it. But Catalyst calls Tuesdays right now, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, for 10 minutes. There's much more resources and support there, but that's just to kind of launch things off if you don't have anybody in mind right now.
Yeah, there's a critical piece there in that I'm kind of an individual. I work really well solo, basically, and so you and I get along well because I think we both work in our own little silos. So we can kind of jive on certain things, but that doesn't work for some people. And I'll share, like my wife, she said, oh, we should start working out together on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. Well, she does it at 5 a.m. And on Mondays and Wednesday nights, I'm training until 9:30. So I don't get home until 10:30. So the thought about getting up and starting a workout at 5 a.m. is kind of the last thing on my mind. I was like, hey, that's a great idea, hun, but as long as we start at maybe 6, which doesn't jive with her schedule. So I'm like, well, let's not, kind of pretend that this is going to work. It's just not going to work with our current rotation schedule. Like in the summertime, maybe different story. Actually, definitely different story because a lot of my programs shift. But with you, it's like we can jump on those calls and be consistent with it. Some people might get more benefit from a community or a large group or a small group. Like you have to really know yourself in order to do this. And that's why starting with at least one person, one friend, as you said, I almost want to say like family member and friend are kind of like, it's easy to cancel on them.
Yeah,
I'm almost like,
absolutely.
bro, I'm so tired. I can't get up this morning. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Me neither. Like we'll both we'll push
They'll
it.
forgive you because they're a good friend or family. Yeah.
Exactly. But when you have somebody that has some skin in the game, so either a coach or your boss, or you mentioned a couple before the
Like just
call.
even like a colleague, if it's like a work professional relationship where you still want to show up and be your best.
Yeah. I think those are good places to go because it's just enough outside of your immediate network
You're
that it
comfortable. Yeah.
forces you to get a little uncomfortable and say, hey, by the way, I can't make it. And then they have a different lens of you than, mom or dad or friend or whatever. So picking that person, and again, I'll use the analogy of a river. Like don't sit in the middle and, think about which path to take. Just pick a path, call a person, and ask somebody, start, and then see where that leads before you start, dwelling on, is this the right person, or is this whatever? Just start somewhere and then let that kind of navigate its way through until it starts to align. And then if it doesn't, just make a quick adjustment.
Yeah, iterate on the fly kind of thing versus just trying to get the perfect plan in
Yeah.
place. Well, we can wrap it up here. I know there's so much more that we want to talk about in other conversations. Just to really summarize, if you're somebody that is challenged with following through on things that you want to do, you know you should be doing or need to be doing for yourself, having some extra skin in the game, accountability, putting your word out there with somebody else could be that catalyst, and showing up for 10 minutes just to launch something, make it on video, make it live, make it in person, whatever it is, so that you start the thing. Even if you don't finish it, you start it and you show up. That will make a huge difference. And Rory and I, as health coaches, we have our own struggles around our healthy habits. And we know most people do. If somebody doesn't, there might be a different breed and they have their own different challenges. But either way, having that support, that community, and something you look forward to kickstart things, it's a great way to get unstuck if you're feeling stuck. That's it. So if you're feeling stuck, try it out. Talk to somebody, like Rory said. Don't sit in the middle of the stream, kind of think about which way to go or the path. Take action, talk to somebody, or join the Catalyst calls that I'll be hosting on the Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 Eastern time. And you can just reach out for more information on that.
Yeah.
So
Can I leave on a quote?
please do.
And I think I shared this with you this morning, is if you do what you've always done, you will get what you always got. And so in order to get something that you don't have, you need to do things you've never done before. And I think I've really resonated on that in the last little bit. And it has me up at 6:30 getting on the calls with you. It has me doing late night rooks and treadmill walks that normally would just be me sitting on the couch after a long day of coaching. So yeah, this is your call. This is your call to take on something that is a little outside your comfort zone. So appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
And we're here
Yeah,
for
buddy.
you. If you have questions or anything like that, reach out. We're in this with you. We're doing it. We're in the trenches. We have our own struggles. So reach out, ask us questions if you have anything. And Rory, as always, great chatting, and chat with you tomorrow morning at 4:30 my time.
Sounds good.
Okay.
See you then.
Cheers.
Cheers.